Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another League of Legends guide video. And in today's guide, we're going to be looking over the champion, Gragas. Big, lumpy, chunky, I can't say the word fat. Shit, I already said it. Well anyways, welcome back to another guide video. This guide was supposed to be... Honestly, I was supposed to do this a while ago, but I got really busy. But who cares? It's here now, and this is what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a Gragas guide from me. This is just gonna teach you pretty much the baseline stuff about Gragas, and I will also give you guys some recommendations for when it comes to combos and stuff that I will not be demonstrating. Actually, I will be showing you over to a YouTube channel that is just... whew, godly Gragas. But anyways, Gragas is a champion that is mostly played within the jungle. Within his kit, he consists within a lot of CC, and his ultimate just greatly helps for making plays. You guys have probably already seen his ultimate, because if you haven't, then you're gonna see it within this video, which you most likely have, because this is why you came here to play Gragas, because you probably had no idea while trying to play him. But anyways, let's go looking over Gragas' abilities, starting off with his passive, Happy Hour. When Gragas uses an ability, he heals 6% of his max health, and this can happen every 8 seconds. Pretty much is an 8-second cooldown, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Heals 6% for when using an ability, which is really good for going tanky. So that 6% could be a huge amount when you're actually building a lot of health. Next, we'll move over to his Q, which is Barrel Roll. Gragas rolls his cask to a location, which can be activated to explode or will explode on its own after 4 seconds. Enemies struck by the blast have their own movement speed slowed, and the longer you set down this ability and get the damage off, the more damage it's going to do. So it's best try to get the longest duration you can out of the barrel, but also trying to hurt the enemy at the same time, because it's not like a Lux E where you can be anyone in a circle and take the same amount of damage, and it doesn't matter how long it's set for, whereas with Gragas, you gotta make sure you stick him in that barrel for as long as you can. Next, we'll move over to Gragas' W, which is Drunken Rage. Gragas guzzles down Brew from his cask for 1 second. After finishing, he becomes drunkenly overpowered, dealing magic damage to all nearby enemies on his next basic attack, and reducing damage received. And this ability is most likely used when you're about to make an engage, but when using Drunken Rage, try to proc it as soon as you can, because enemies can see you while using this ability. But it can also be used before getting into lane to gank, and it provides a little bit of nice CC. Now we're moving over to Gragas' E, which is Body Slam. Gragas charges to a location and collides with the first enemy hit, which includes minion, champions, or monsters, dealing damage to all nearby enemy units and stunning them. Body Slam's cooldown is reduced when Gragas collides with a unit, so it's best to hit multiple units whenever you can, but Body Slam is essentially there so you can go ahead and stun your enemy by dashing into them. And just before using Body Slam, you can use Drunken Rage so you can activate your auto attack for when you body slam into them, because once you body slam into them, they'll be stunned and you're most likely 100% going to hit them with Drunken Rage. Bear in mind, you can throw your Q while you're pressing E as well, so you can make quite a combo off this. Body slam can also be used to jump over walls, so you can use that as an escape ability as well. And you can scale your flash with E, so you can flash midway in your body slam and it will stun the target that's at the very end of your flash. So you can make some pretty good plays with this ability. Now we're moving over to Gragas' ultimate, which is Explosive Cast. Gragas hurls his cask to a location, dealing damage and knocking back enemies caught in the blast radius. This essentially knocks them away from the barrel. So picture it like this. You're throwing a mini Lee Sin. You're throwing a barrel and they will come towards wherever you direct them to. So you gotta, if you want them to come towards you, you can barrel them from behind. You can set down your Q, you can have your W and E ready as well, and you can let off a bunch of damage. This can also be used to make plays, to catch off the enemy, and to keep them separated from their team. Now that we've talked about Gragas' abilities, we'll be going through the runes, and there are multiple kind of runes you can go through, but I will give you the ones that I most likely use, and these work pretty great, but you have to use them in certain ways as well. So, looking at AP well, when playing Gragas, you can go AP or tank, so it's either you're gonna one-shot, or you're not gonna get one shot. So with AP Gragas, when you're taking Arcane Comet, the only time you would need to use this is when you're pressing your Q for the poke. When landing a Q with Gragas and you slow them, Arcane Comet is bound to hit them. So your Q will essentially do more damage than you expect. Then the rest, Ultimate Hat, Transcendence, and Scorch. Ultimate Hat is to, of course, help you get your ultimate more after using it a bunch. And because of the new AP items, you can go Transcendence and you can get that excessive CDR so you can actually get more damage. But along with that, you also get the 10% CDR at level 10. And having Scorch is really good as well, so you can get Arcane Comet and Scorch to proc off. And this is most likely really good for mid lane as well, because this is good for the laning phase when you're throwing Arcane Comet, because when you're in the jungle, you're not really gonna go go Arcane Comet. But otherwise, if you were gonna go jungle and you were gonna go AP at the same time, I think you might want to go Summon Airy. For Gragas tank jungle, you can go Aftershock, Font of Life, Conditioning, Second Wind, and then secondary, you can go Transcendence and Ultimate Hat, or you can choose whatever you want. For Gragas support, you pretty much do the same, but you could take Mana Flow Band and Scorch, so you have more sustain and more poke in the lane. You could also go Gragas support with Guardian, Font of Life, Conditioning, Second Wind, and you can go Zombie Ward, of course, to keep up the vision, and Ingenious Hunter, so you can activate abilities or active item CDRs. And you can go Ingenious Hunter, so you can activate items like Locket of Iron Solari, Redemption, etc. And you can also go Gragas support with Inspiration secondary as well, with Perfect Timing and Biscuit Delivery for more sustain, and you can use Perfect Timing for tower dives early game. And you could pretty much do the same thing as Gragas support Aftershock, but instead just take Guardian. And then lastly, when you go Gragas tank top, you can go Aftershock, Demolish, Conditioning, and Second Wind, and then you can go Transcendence and Nullifying Orb, depending on which enemy you're versing. But you could also go Grasp of the Undying if you really want to, and you can go Bone Plating, since I made these layouts a lot before the new runes were actually added, because there were extra runes, if you guys did not notice, that were added to the game. Now let's look at the builds. These are the builds that I have picked that most people use, but also I have been using as well. So looking at the top lane, that's most likely going to be your AP Gragas build. But when I choose this build, instead of Rod of Ages, I most likely go Luden's Echo, only because Luden's Echo got reworked as well. All these other AP items did get changed as well, because Lost Chapter was becoming more of a essential recipe for most of the builds now. So when going AP, of course, you want to go Sheen and Protobelt. Sheen, so you can turn into Lichbane. Protobelt, it has that slight tankiness, and it also has that active. So if you're going Ingenious Hunter as well, you can proc this most of the time, which will also reduce Zhonya's Hourglass's cooldown. And Zhonya's is really good for making tower dives and really nice plays. Liandry's Torment is a beautiful item right now, and that should be taken on Gragas. It is amazing. And once again, take Luden's Echo instead of Rod of Ages if you're going for the one-shot. Unless you want to be slightly tanky, then you can take Rod of Ages. Or you could go Spellbinder, and you can use that as well for the active, and you could do 200 AP damage. Luden's Echo now provides CDR, and it also hurts quite a lot. Then on the second line, we have a tanky Gragas build, but this is more of a situational build. This is what you would build, or items that you would build when you're going situational. This can either be on top lane or in jungle as well, but you're most likely going to be building these things in jungle. So of course you go Randuin's if you want to reduce crit, Warmogs if you want more health, which would scale good with your passive. Gargoyle Stoneplate will increase your health, and you can use that before an engage while using your W, which will give you more health as well. Iceborne Gauntlet will give you nice bit of CC on them, or let's just call it impaired movement because it slows them. Sunfire Cape, you can go that if you really want to. I'd say that is most essential in top lane, unless you're going to go Cinderhulk when you're going jungle. And the boots are just what you prefer. Like, you gotta go the boots that are going to be situational. So if they have a bunch of AD, you go Ninja Tabby. If you want to one-shot them, you go Sorcerer's Shoes. If you're feeling really confident. And if you have, or if you want Mercury Treads to reduce their CC and their magic damage, then go ahead and go for that. And speaking of jungle items, I'd say you go Stalker's Blade for Chilling Smite, and I would most likely recommend you going Cinderhulk, even if you're going AP Gragas, only because of the clear and the sustain that you get. But otherwise, you can go Runic Echoes as well, but I would highly recommend Cinderhulk. Then these bottom items here are just items you can pick out of the random. By out of the random, I of course mean situationally. Thornmail if you want to inflict grievous wounds if they're healing too much. Mercury Treads if you want to reduce CC. Righteous Glory if you want to catch up to enemies. And it has some nice base stats. Adaptive Helm if they have repetitive damage, most likely with their spells. And Locket of Iron Solari that can be used for when you're going Gragas support, along with going Ingenious Hunter that will reduce Locket's cooldown. And that can be the same for Redemption, Knight's Vow, and all the other support items. The only reason I displayed Locket was to set an example for all the other support items as well. Now that we've looked over the builds, we're going to move over to the combos or the basic things that you can do with Gragas, and then I will link you to a bunch of things that will give you pro tips on Gragas as well. Alright, we've moved to being in game, and I'm going to show you just a couple of things that you can do with Gragas, and just so you know some of the basics and stuff with him. So the most basic thing that you're ever going to probably do is whenever you're coming in for a gank or something, you can always press your W and you press E and slam them, because your W will stay activated and it will count as an empowered auto attack. So the main essential thing that you're going to be doing is body slamming and then drunken rage attacking them. You want to charge it before, obviously, when you want to do that. And like I said before, you can throw your Q while you're Eing, so you can do that. And then you can pretty much throw your Q at the same time. Here, let me just take off these cooldowns. So if you press EQ, it will bring that with you. And when you stun them, they'll be in this for a while. Or you can just body slam them as well. So we'll do this. We'll EQ. And then slam them. And then until their CC ends, or when the CC ends, you just reactivate Q. But most likely you want to leave this down for as long as possible. So what most people do is when playing with Gragas or when trying to make a play, most likely they want to set down their Q and then they throw their ultimate, throw them into it, and then blow it up. They try to do it at the very last bit of the Q, and that's where you get all the damage off. So you want to max your Q first, then you want to max your W or E. I would go W then E if I'm going jungle. Otherwise, I would go E then W. So you can always place your Q here, W, E, and then throw your ultimate behind, and then pop them like that. So when they're stunned, you're guaranteed to throw your ultimate behind them. What to do is, okay, I highly recommend this. When playing Gragas, please practice your ultimates in the practice tool or something, or get in a normal game and start practicing this ultimate thing. I'm not good at it myself. I'm surprised I haven't fucking messed up yet, but it hasn't, you know, like, you gotta practice this a lot, and sometimes you can mess up people. So let's say your teammate is coming from here and you did this. That guy's gone. You're not gonna get this guy. So you should Drunken Rage, EQ, and then you should just pop it off. Or you could place your Q, W, E, slam him, put your ultimate down, pop him. That will do all of the damage that you could possibly get. You can also do this with your E. I forgot to show you. So you can press E and then flash. Like I said earlier, you could just press E flash, and it's pretty much like Lee Sin. Like, you could just E flash and... Oops, that kind of failed. You could E flash, and you can get that off. You can even do it the other way. Pretty much like Shen's E or Lee Sin's kind of... Yeah, it's pretty much like Shen's E. Exactly like Shen's E. As long as you get it on there. So you can do this, throw him down, and possibly place a Q first. I think you want to do that first. What you could also do is you could throw your ultimate behind him, body slam him, and do that as well. So, or you could just set it in front of you, do this, throw it behind him, do that, boom. That is the most basic Gragas combos that you could probably come up with, and they're very hard to pull off when you're doing in lane as well, because you need to predict where your enemy moves. Because if they move like, so say your enemy's here, if they move like a spick over here, they will go flying down this way instead of this way. So like, it will kind of like, so if they moved a little bit over here and I threw this, would go, they would go here. But if they stayed in that position, they would move up here. Otherwise, they would move down there. Always want to try getting them to catch into your Q, so you can pretty much do as much damage as you can, because your Q does the most damage once you're upgrading it to the max, because it does 240 damage plus your AP scaling, which is a lot more than all your other abilities besides your ultimate, because your ultimate's just that outplay kind of thing. So you do this, and you can throw them back into your allies as well, and then they can make the rest of the plays for you. And that's just the basic combos, so we will move back over to the guide. Okay, now that we've covered almost everything about Gragas, I'm just going to tell you a few more things before we end off this guide. I would most likely recommend you to play Gragas in the jungle if you're starting with Gragas as well. Make sure you have a Cinderhulk start and start practicing your ganks and your ultimate. Your ultimate, you can go ahead and practice that in the practice tool. You can go ahead and check out the combos. And speaking of combos, we will be looking over at another YouTube channel, which is by the name of Panunu. Panunu's a really good Gragas player. He has been playing Gragas for I don't know how long, but I've just watched this guy recently, and I have seen him play Gragas quite a lot, because he's a Gragas one-trick, and the combos that he pulls off are amazing. So go ahead and check him out. I will drop his channel in the description below. He's quite a big YouTuber, and he is just really good at Gragas. I just highly recommend that you guys go and watch him for when it comes to Gragas combos, or just playing him in lane in general, because this guy plays him in lane, and I don't think, he doesn't play him in jungle that much, but he plays him in lane a lot, and he pulls off those combos beautifully, as if he knows, like, how it's always gonna work. Like, it's just, he does it every single time. Like 90% of the times, I always see him get his combos off, and it just makes Gragas look so easy to play, but it's not that easy. But honestly, I got my Gragas confidence from this guy, so if you guys want to be confident about playing Gragas in future, definitely check this guy out. This guy will show you how to play Gragas. Just legit. Watch a few of his videos, watch his streams if you really want to. But I will tell you, his Gragas plays are really amazing, and you will not regret it, honestly. But anyways, that was it. That was pretty much the guide. I hope you guys enjoyed my first Season 8 guide. I know I haven't done much of these, but you know what? We're gonna get back into these. I'm gonna remake my Shen guide soon, only because Shen is my main and I really love to play Shen, and because I have a Shen top series as well, which I will be continuing as normal. It's just I'm starting to slowly get back into my schedule. It's slowly fitting in now. But anyways, I will thank you guys so much for sticking around on my previous videos and stuff. I know I haven't uploaded a lot. I've already boasted about this before, and thank you guys so much for everything. Thank you guys for subscribing and everything. Go ahead and drop a comment below. Go ahead and drop a like if you guys want to show some support. If you guys want to see another guide, go ahead and recommend me. I have started to take some recommendations. I think I took this recommendation from someone, but also from the inspiration of watching Panunu. But I will start taking recommendations, so go ahead and post it down in the comment section below. Go ahead and rate my guide, and if you guys do have any extra things to say, or if you guys want to add on or correct some of my things, go ahead and put that in the comment section below as well, because I really want some support from higher ranked people and what their opinions are and how their opinions are different to mine. I really love to be critiqued. Anyways guys, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Peace guys, and see ya.